Welcome to Week 9 Fantasy Breakouts. I'm Pat, this is Eric. This episode, we're going to go through a recap, and then we'll also do some waivers and trade scenarios and whatnot. Okay? So the first game, we have the Dolphins 34 over the Cardinals 31. Thought this was a great game. I mean, if you're a Kyler owner, what more can you expect? What do you want? I mean, he's a great dual threat quarterback. Might be the best right now. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes, but that man, Kyler looking athletic. As far as that, what did you pick up from that game, Eric?
Yeah, I saw that he's on pace to have over almost 1,100 yards and like 16 rushing touchdowns. Is like that sounds like Lamar Jackson last year. It's wild, but he's a freak athlete. We had the Dolphins defense come to play, and just watching that first half, I was just kind of like rubbing my hands together, like, all right, this might be my defense the rest of the way, because they strip sacked Kyler, and that's probably one of the best offenses in the league. The Dolphins defense has that formula of that underrated, underestimated defense that people are taking chances against, and that's who we like. They have 4 top 10 matchups the rest of the way. So, what'd you think about the Steelers game? I saw you had a little bit of maybe the game we didn't expect right there, but what'd you think?
Disappointment. Drastic disappointment. You know, I was talking to a couple people weeks ago, and they say that Steelers are phony, they're fake, and I was like, no, man, this defense is crazy. And I said if the Steelers didn't score 20 points last week, failure. And they didn't. Failure. They got a backup quarterback. They were real nonchalant. Big Ben did his whole heroic thing, comes back in after it looks like his ACL is gone. But it goes back to show you how valuable Juju is. Fantasy football is definitely one of those things where you love me or hate me, and it turns really quickly. So I definitely wanted more out of them. The Steelers did pull off a victory 24-19, but it should have been 24-3. As far as Saints and Bucks, I thought it was a great game at first. At the first quarter, it changed everything. You just knew off the jump, this ain't the Bucks' day, might as well do something else. It was obvious. Saints went to work, they had a point to prove, and they did just that. As far as that, man, they try to incorporate Brown. They're trying to do a lot of things. Godwin's got a broke finger, this. It's an off game. It is what it is. What do you think about that, Eric?
Yeah, I'm not going to read too much into it. I think you're right. Off game. I'm not going to read too much into it. It's just sometimes in the season you just have one that just gets away from you and you're done. You're dead. So, but I'm not going to read too much into it. So let's move on to Raiders Chargers. This was like phenomenal game. Like if you're a Chargers fan, you have like you're excited for your team. Your ups and downs and peaks and valleys. It's like being a Vikings fan when they're relevant, which I've been through. But yeah, I've been through that every bit of that. But what'd you think of that game?
Oh man, Chargers had a little scare with Justin Herbert, but he came through. That's good. But you guys got a lot of pieces, and you got to keep in mind that their defense, they're missing Darwin James. I don't think people realize how important that man is. Now, obviously, injury is last 2 years. I don't want to say anything, knock on wood, however you want to put it, but if they can find the deep, what? So I'd say I wouldn't be surprised next year y'all come out and handle business, honestly. But for now, you guys are just an offensive powerhouse, and I'm cool. We're all cool with that. Like I said earlier, go get your wide receivers. Herbert slanging the rock. Herbert slanging that rock. Okay. On the other side of the ball, Derek Carr is spreading the ball around. I think people are really forgetting about Nelson Aguilar, Blood Diamond. They throwing the ball. He's going to get it. He's trying to get his. Okay. Falcons, Broncos. Falcons won 34-27. I guess however you look at it, both defenses are not the best. But as far as offense, both quarterbacks spread the ball around. Ozigimwa, whatever his name is, Ozingas.
Alamide
Zacchaeus. He did all right. But, I mean, he had a good game, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, don't get too happy. Obviously, Ridley's going to be coming back. Don't get too happy. Don't go out there and spend your top priority on it. It's not worth it. As far as the Broncos, how'd you think about the Broncos offense, Eric?
I really like what we saw to Jeudy, and I like him too much. I think he's 90% of Cortland Sutton. That's what I just see running around. It's like, all right, this guy might be better than Cortland Sutton. I know it's early to say that, but I do like
Definitely.
him a lot. And then back to Zacchaeus, I guess he is like the direct replacement for Ridley. He's the exact direct replacement.
Mm-hmm.
So if Ridley doesn't play, he's startable if you need him. But yeah, let's move on to the Bills. Josh Allen doing everything for them and running them in, and we said DJ Dallas was going to be a little bit questionable in that game, and he was. He just kind of got bailed out by that touchdown because he had about a third of the involvement that he did the week before, which we expected. But what did you think about the Bills Seahawks?
Seahawks defense is ass.
Right.
I mean, Seahawks defense is bad. Okay, so as expected, Josh Allen should do what he did. It was a great game, though. I'm not trying to take away, but at the same time, Seahawks have terrible defense. It finally caught up to Russ. I think the formula was going DK, then Lockett, then DK and Lockett, and it actually went DK this time. And you Lockett fans are probably, salty in this nest. You're going to start both of them. Just don't even think about it. It is what it is. Keep moving. Chiefs, Panthers. Wow, the boy is back. He's the truth. But at the same time, keep tabs because he went out with a shoulder injury. Yes, I'm talking about CMC. Just imagine if he played every week this season. We'd be talking about him or Dalvin Cook right now, right? And I think CMC would have the edge by like 30 points, to be honest. But that's just me. Now, as far as the Chiefs' defense, disgusting. But Chiefs pulled off as they should. Pat Mahomes spreading the rock. I think it's safe to say CEH is the clear-cut number one. Le'Veon Bell, up to me, he droppable. If somebody tries to trade you for him, you should. What am I supposed to give you? It's not valuable. Do you agree with that, Eric? Do you have any input on that?
Yeah, that's why we did talk about how we wanted to sell Le'Veon when we saw him in the jersey. It's like, check it out, man. He looks good in that jersey. What do you want for him? But yeah, that's a little bit what we were worried about. Yeah, McCaffrey, we're going to get updates all week, and that's why we told you not to drop Mike Davis. So Mike Davis is in the conversation. Grab him. And we did like seeing Samuel got back. He was in the game plan even with McCaffrey back. So that's what we were hoping. So we'll talk about him a little bit. But yeah,
that's definitely an interesting thing right there because if he's in there actually with them both, I mean. That's what we were, scared of as far as Samuel. If he comes in and he doesn't, but they were still using him. Mm-hmm. And I've had him in a couple leagues at the beginning of the year. I don't know if they were maybe he was hurt. They were saying he was off. He was dealing with some injuries, but he's looking very versatile right now. That's how we're gonna put it. Yeah. So Titans and Bears. Titans 24, Bears 17. It was an ugly game. I would be extremely salty if I were you. If I were Derrick Henry owner, but let's keep in mind. The Bears' defense is built to stop that type of guy. Yep. Let's put it like that. A.J. Brown still delivers consistency. Bears. Montgomery did have a concussion. Keep tabs on that. Other than that, man. Allen Robinson, just pay the man. He makes the balls that he catches. Pay the man. And we're just going to keep moving. Yep. So, Vikings and Lions. Vikings 34, Lions 20. Stafford underperformed, but we don't know what he was going through. It is what it is. Everybody has off games. He's still streamable without a doubt. Dalvin Cook. You're not trading this man unless somebody gives you something audacious, okay? There's got to be something nasty, like something. We talked to some people. I think they were talking about his schedule down the Vikings are going to run the ball. Mm-hmm. They have nothing. They don't trust Kirk Cousins. That's evident the last 2-3 years. Why do you think Diggs left? Right. They don't trust the man. They're going to run the ball. Now, Eric, how do you feel about that? What you got any input on that?
Yeah, the Dalvin Cook, trading Dalvin Cook, you better be getting Kamara, Christian McCaffrey, or Henry. And I don't care what other combination you're getting. Don't ask about it. You're getting one of those guys, and then you're getting somebody else you can start. Ask about it at that point. But let's move on. Ravens Colts 24-10. Whereas Mark Andrews gone, he's gone missing. I don't know who he is anymore. I think Boyle might be.
He's a blocker.
Yeah, Boyle's getting so much playing time, so many passes. It's like makes you sick. But what'd you think about it? I know Pat's got quite a bit invested in the Colts, so take it away, buddy.
This week I sat Jonathan Taylor on the bench, give him a little mental break. I don't care if he plays, obviously, in real life, but He just needed his time. He had a fumble there, but their schedule, this is buy low, period. If you have an opportunity to buy low and pounce on an RB that's solid, and I'd say he's not an RB1. Let's don't think I'm saying that. But a solid, I bet you he's an RB2 going here on out just because that schedule's too nice, man. It's just, as a Lamar owner, you should be on your high horse right now. And why I say that is because the second half looked completely different from the first half. It looked like all out of sorts, yada, yada. But the second half, you actually pay attention, he was hitting his guys, you know. He has something to look forward to. Ravens defense came to play, but keep in mind they have some injuries going forward. They just lost Calais Campbell for about 3 to 4 weeks, so keep that in mind when you're streaming them if you are. Next game, Giants 23, Washington 20. Don't know how that happened. Terry McLaurin did his thing as usual. Antonio Gibson, great running back, had a fumble, but he's going to be their bell cow. People are going in on Wayne Gallman. I'm not reading too much into him because, well, first of all, he only scored because the dude muffed a punt or a kick return, whatever it was. Think about that.
And then somebody dropped a touchdown pass right before that too, and then they gave it to him.
Exactly.
I was like, well, I guess that's his week. But yeah, Alex Smith, I think he's going to keep improving. He just doesn't see linebackers in zone coverage right now. He's just throwing it to him. Don't get my Terry hurt. Just keep letting him play.
Don't set him up.
Don't get him hurt, or I'll be doing a Pat video about Odell, and we'll play the sad music, but keep him healthy. All right. Well, next we got Texans, Jags. Texans pulled it out. Way too close of a game. Did not see that coming to be that close with gluten-free or Luton. And then we had DJ Shark just caught a bomb immediately, so Pat was probably happy to see that.
Now, as far as Jake Luton, a lot of people were doubting this and this. Jake Luton was better than Gardner, period. He threw way better than Gardner, but then you guys must say, whoa, he's been injured since week 2. That throw that he had a couple throws. You got to think where he came from, the system he came from, like he slung the rock, and exactly what he did. I have a lot of confidence. I like what they're going with that right now. And Doug Marrone, we know he don't care. He arrived with the hot hand. Some changes are going to come. And after that performance, honestly, Gardner, I'm tired of your thumb. So, next, Packers and Niners. Packers did what they were supposed to. Devontae Adams is the best wide receiver in fantasy football right now. And I'll wait. Remember, McKinnon had these tired legs. He's only been off for 3 years, but he had tired legs. Obviously, he's returned back to lead back. I feel bad for all the Jermichael Hasty owners. Like, y'all got sent off. I've seen some people spend, $12 in fab on him. How'd that work out, buddy? Moving on. Yep. We just had the Patriots win 30-27 on the Jets. Cam looked good, but it's the Jets. But there's a couple of Patriots receivers. It might be a little interesting. I'd say more matchup based, just because I'm still not confident with the line of Patriots and Cam being Cam, but might have something going there.
Okay. All right. So next we'll go into our Week 9 waivers. I think we're a little bit thin at running back. We'll try our best for you. But first off, yeah, we saw Tua in that game script where he had to throw, he had to make plays, and he did. So I think I'm going $7. And if you're really needy at quarterback, if you have Ben Roethlisberger as your only quarterback, for example, definitely go after him. He's 25% owned, so he's going to be available in most leagues. And then I have Drew Lock as my second option, and I think he's more of a streamer for this week against Las Vegas. That's probably he's just a 1 week, so I wouldn't spend too much on him. Pat, do you have anybody else or anybody different for QB?
No, just kind of with that, I would definitely not go, break the bank for Drew Lock. As far as quarterback, that's about it, man. That's out there. So moving on to running backs, the backup for the Dolphins, his name is Ahmed, something like that. He looks just like Gaskin. And Brian Flores got that I need that guy mentality, so I think I'm vouching for him. Overall, PPR, and whatever format, I think Ahmad's the best pickup as far as that. I know we touched on this last week. If there is some running backs out there, Tony Pollard. What about Gio Bernard? We already talked about how unsure about his foot we are, right? If Gio's out there, I'd say definitely cuff him. Why not? Outside of that, you got any input on running backs?
Yeah, that's who I had. Ahmed, he's imagine Andre Ellington if you were playing fantasy like 3 or 4 years ago. That's his size. He's fast. He just tries to run around the edge faster than everybody else. He's not running anybody over. So if you need somebody that's quick and not Jordan Howard, there you go. Yeah, and like you said, Pollard, Bernard, Madison, you can pick them up. You can drop them as you go, as you please. But I for most of the way, I want to have at least one of them because they're going to be extremely valuable. Even Madison had like 60 yards and like 10 rushes even in that game when Dalvin Cook went off. That's how valuable that backfield is. But receiver,
he looked better. Sorry, he looked better as a backup. It was weird,
right.
But
yeah. Maybe it's just not that indecisiveness. He just knows his role, but when he goes in as the main guy, he tries to think about
too much pressure, too much.
Yeah.
Back up.
Receivers, Christian Kirk is actually available in about 30% of leagues. I know that's probably not yours, but he's above anybody else if he's out there. He's getting way more targets recently. People rather focus on Hopkins, so he's taking advantage. I'd go $15 on him. We're getting down to the end of it. I think I would spend up on him. And then Samuel, like we talked about, available on the flip side of that, he's available in 70% of leagues still. I go a little bit cheaper, maybe like $12. I know he was on our last week's for cheaper, so he's getting more expensive. Get him now, or else we're probably going to keep talking about him. Zacchaeus, if Ridley looks like he's out at the end of the week, if you see he's out there and you need somebody, he is his fill-in. He played the most snaps out of anybody. He played more than Blake when with Ridley out. And then tight end's a little bit rough, but I go a few bucks on Dwelly, the fourth, and then a few bucks on him, the fourth. I'm spitting. And then $8 on Hooper. He's coming back. He should be coming back, but maybe don't start him this week. I've had appendectomy, and you just can't push it, man. That's like one of the most painful things in my life. I just think about it. Maybe not start him this week, but grab him if you can. But Pat, do you have anybody else?
Preston Williams went out with an injury. Mm-hmm. We'll see a monitor that. But I only say Grant because usually, obviously, Devontae Parker's going to be guarded by the top cornerback if a team doesn't have them, or usually number 2 leaks and get out. And I saw him like Grant, and Grant could also, like you said earlier, score on punt return, kick return. So it depends on your league, format, whatnot. It might be valuable for you. Darnell Mooney, he had 11 targets. Think about it. He would have caught 2 more of that. That's solid 10. If you get that for a waiver claim, good. Tight ends, I guess you can still roll with Jordan Reed. He burned me last week, but I think he's got better days. But at the same time, Dwelly, I think they're going to spread the love between the two of them. I think one day it's going to be a Dwelly, one day it's going to be Reed, so keep that in mind. But that's about it for them. You got any defenses you might want to stream, Eric?
Yeah, I think we're going back to the NFC East again. Giants and Eagles playing each other. They have the lowest over/under, and we've seen this game. It's like it's on repeat with the Washington football team. That game we just watched. I can kind of see that type of 17-20 type game right there. And then Minnesota and Chicago. Vikings have been playing better on defense. But I'm not just so swayed by being a Vikings fan, I promise, because I would definitely start the Bears against the Vikings this week in Chicago. They're going to have the grass grown out. It's going to be slow. I think they're going to try to slow down the Vikings. Yeah, that game's going to be ugly. So I go with those 4. You should have at least one of those available between Giants, Philly, Minnesota, Chicago.
And kind of like Eric said earlier, this is definitely one of those times you start this crunch time. If you are basically 5 wins, 6 wins, you're basically in the playoffs.
Should be.
That's safe to say right now. You only need 2 more wins. I hope you get 2 more wins unless everybody in your team gets injured next Sunday. But let's start playing that game of chess rather than checkers. All right. The other competition, they need next 3-4 weeks. You could sacrifice one of those weeks easy. If you have a better playoff matchup down or better playoff matchup and schedule compared to the other person that needs a filler, don't be greedy. Let them have their shine.
Yeah,
Who gets the last laugh? That's the real question here. Okay.
And the Dolphins, if they're available. They should be available in quite a few leagues, too. Dolphins above all those 4. But I think that's it, Pat. You want to wrap it up, sir?
No, that's about it. All right. Well, appreciate you guys for checking in. Fantasy Breakouts. I'm Pat. That's Eric. As always, we appreciate you guys. Go ahead and like and subscribe. Now, as far as the questions and all that great stuff, keep them coming. Keep it flowing. We did have a couple videos that we need to make. Thank you guys, and we will get that taken care of next couple videos. For now, we just want to give you this recap, and we'll go from there. But stay tuned for our videos. And as always, like us on our social media pages.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it.